Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to the latest weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height. Welcome back, kiddies.
It's still a terrible weather situation up here where we live. By the time this hits, we're still getting snow
Yeah,
in April.
it's gonna suck.
But that's why we do the weekend edition. We get you out. We get you listening to things, watching things.
We keep you warm and fuzzy.
That's right. And as always, the first segment of the weekend edition, taping here on the 6th of April, 2022. This will hit on the 9th, is all about music.
Yep. Music.
So can I admit, I think we screwed up. I think we should have reviewed, even though Aldo Nova's new album is
the rock
a
opera
concept album, we should have reviewed the Red Hot Chili Peppers Unlimited Love is 17 songs.
And what was it? An hour, almost 15 minutes.
It almost seemed like they wanted to see how much music they could put into one CD.
Yeah. This was a marathon.
Yeah, we're not trying to bias our reviews, our picks.
No.
But
it was we listened to it multiple times each.
Yes. So we will go through Unlimited Love from the Red Hot Chili Peppers
before we hit our singles.
Right. I'll tell you this. I wish out of the 17 songs, I think if they had cut song 6 through 12 and gone with a 10-song album, I would have been a lot happier.
There were a few that could have definitely been taken out.
I just didn't like the middle at all.
See, there were a couple in there I didn't mind.
All right, let's go track by track.
Here we go.
Of course, Black Summer, we've reviewed.
Yep, we enjoyed that one.
It's fine. Yep. I did really like Here Ever After.
It was okay.
Oh, okay. Little dissension here.
So I wasn't over the moon. It wasn't the worst track on there. I didn't mind it.
I thought it was one of the top 5.
There you go.
All right. Then the weird ass.
To me, this was probably one of the worst tracks.
Aquatic Mouth Dance.
My God.
With the bass and the horns and
it was just the lyrics. It was just fucked up.
Yeah.
Cuckoo Cachoo.
I think Dave is kind of channeling some of the feelings I have about this album, which we'll get to in a later songs. But yeah, this Aquatic Mouth Dance is just weird. It's just weird,
bizarre on multiple.
Nobody's
levels.
ever gonna. Flea is one of the best bass players in the world. I will never. The man can play bass.
Oh, hands down.
And they obviously try to showcase him as much as they can in a lot of these songs, but
this is one that never should have been put on the album.
I did not like it either. Then we get to Not the One, which has been one of the songs they've been putting out there.
Yeah,
didn't like it at all.
Not really.
It's wussy. It's wussy.
It's one of those.
Wussy.
It's a 70s love song.
It's
ballad.
Wussy. It's wussy. Good Lord.
It's bad.
These guys who put socks on their dicks,
singing,
acting like, oh my God. Barry Manilow had more balls than this shit.
This one.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
Good Lord. I'd rather hear him singing about we're two ships that pass in the night
than Not the One.
Oh my God, I couldn't stand it. And this was not the last time I felt like this during this album.
I think we're going to concur on a couple of things here.
Now, Poster Child Here's my problem with Poster. I do like Poster Child.
See, now I
And
did
we've
not like
reviewed this.
We have. It's
Here's my problem with it though, is that everybody's talking about this is the new age version of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire." So if you look at the lyrics, you can understand it. But the problem is, and this is something we pointed out a few weeks ago, Anthony Kiedis is
Yeah.
no, you can't understand a fucking word
No.
he's saying.
The more I listen to this one, the less I like it.
You can't understand a fucking word he's saying.
No.
It's not like Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire," because at least I understood the pop culture references he was making.
Yeah, this is all over the fucking map.
And I did not understand what the fuck Kiedis was saying throughout the entire song.
Mush mouth on everything.
Yes. Now, is it catchy? Yeah. Once you get to the chorus.
The chorus is catchy.
But that doesn't make it a great song.
No. Like I said, the more I listen, the less I like.
See, I will say the more I listened, the more I liked it, but that doesn't mean I loved it. Now, this is the point. This is the point where I cut it. This is the point where I say, I'll take the top 5. Even Aquatic Mouth Dance.
No, I will not go there because I actually like These Are the Ways.
Okay, so now we go 6, The Great Apes. 7, It's Only Natural. Again, like Not the One, another wuss bag song.
Yeah. She's a Lover.
Again, another wuss bag song. Then, like you said, These Are the Ways is better. That
I
at least
like
rocks.
This one. This rocks out a little bit. It kind of gets you back in.
You're right. These Are the Ways. That's what I've got in my notes. Is at least it rocks.
Yeah, that's why I have that as one of the pluses.
But the problem is, then the next 3 songs I don't like.
You didn't like Bastards of Light? The more I listen to it, the more I like that one.
Yeah, you go, What You Thinking, then Bastards of Light.
What You Thinking is another awful one.
Awful, yeah.
Horrible.
No, I didn't hate Bastards of Light. And then White Braids and Pillow Chair. I don't even know what the fuck that thing was supposed to. I think Anthony Kiedis just wanted to sing Pussy Willow.
Yeah.
It seemed like he just enamored himself with singing Pussy Willow. Now, see, that's again where I draw the line. Now, with One-Way Traffic, this is where I say we get back into the good part.
This is one that
One-Way Traffic is awesome.
One-Way Traffic this is one that grows on you the more you listen to it. This is the earworm of the album.
Yes, One-Way Traffic is a great song. It's a party tune. It's fun. This is the Chili Peppers, what they're supposed to be.
Exactly.
And that's why I said if you cut it at Poster Child and then jump to this and go the rest of the way, I could live with it. Now, I'm with you. If we could take These Are the Ways, put that in there for Aquatic Mouth Dance.
Right. I will take out Veronica. I
hate Veronica.
Veronica sucked. Let 'Em Cry.
Let 'Em Cry is interesting musically. It's got great guitar work.
Lyrically, it kind of blows
notes.
Yes,
it does. I did think The Heavy Wing was interesting.
I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
That one I enjoyed. That was one of the pluses
I put it down as it rocks, but it's unfocused.
Yeah, it's a little out there.
Right. And I did like Tangelo.
See, I didn't like Tangelo.
Oh, I thought that was a great closing song.
Did not like it at all.
Oh, really?
Did not care for Tangelo.
I like Tangelo a lot. So there you go. That's the one where Dave and I really disagree. I think otherwise we're simpatico. So overall, I would give Red Hot Chili Peppers Unlimited Love a 2.
That's exactly where I'm at. When I have more negatives than positives, I can't give it anything better than a 2.
This album would have been
so
much
long.
better if they cut a 5 songs out.
Yeah.
And even though you and I disagree about Tangelo, for the most part, I think you and I agree on the other stuff that we would have cut out.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And I always complain about bands that don't create and don't keep churning out new music. So you got a band that's trying to fill out an entire CD, 17 songs.
I applaud the effort.
Why couldn't you have put out 2 albums? Take the 10 best from this and then get rid of the crap.
Exactly.
2 years later, put out something better than this. Sorry, kids.
Not a rave review.
No. And I'm still on the fence with them being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Boy, there are still bands that I think should be in that are not.
That are way better.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, singles time. Let's start with Skid Row. The gang's all here.
I'm interested.
This is a nice rockin' little tune. I'm not a fan of the lead singer. He's generic. That's what kills this one for me, is I'm not a fan of the vocals.
I have tried to get over the misery that I have felt over the decades
of the split with
egomaniacs. Dave and I are Sebastian Bach fanatics. We love Sebastian Bach. We saw him in concert last year. We love him.
Phenomenal.
We love him. He should be the one and only lead singer for Skid Row. I'm sorry. He should be.
His vocals would have put this song over the top.
I am going to be more generous with this than you, but you just said how I felt about this song. Is that when I listen to this song, I like it. I really think it's catchy, but the only thing I can think about is, good Lord, if Sebastian Bach was singing this fucker, this would be unbelievable.
Off the chart. Phenomenal.
That's why I'm giving it 3 frenzies, because this is, to me, a Skid Row song that's the only thing it's missing is Sebastian Bach. I don't hate the lead singer as much as you.
I'm going 2.5 because I just think he's too damn generic. He doesn't give the song the life it needs. I love the music.
Close. It's close.
I love the lyrics. He just cannot pull it off.
Here's my question. This is what, the 4th lead singer, I believe?
Yeah.
That Skid Row's been on since. Fucking get Sebastian Bach back.
It's obvious
out that of your you are not Skid Row without Sebastian Bach.
Exactly.
Jesus!
Pull your heads out of your egotistical asses.
All sides. Sebastian Bach, Sabo, all of you. Get your fucking heads out of your asses. Get back together. Create the great and glorious Skid Row that we all know and love once again.
And we would go out in hordes to see the reunion. Ugh.
I could definitely hear Sebastian Bach singing this song.
Oh my God. There are points where you know his vocal range and the passion he brings to singing. And you know where it would hit.
Right.
And drive through.
And I'm not arguing with you about the fact that this obviously is not as good with this lead singer. But I think you're being a little too hard on him.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
It's still better than what we have heard in the past.
It is. Nah. I can't go any higher.
See, you're bitter because you want Sebastian back, which I do too.
I just don't like the way this guy, he didn't deliver.
You realize they brought him in at the last minute, right?
That's on them then. Which is why it still gets a 2.5.
Which, again, why we say, fucking figure it out and get back together with Sebastian Bach. Jesus God.
It's not rocket science, people.
All right, the other single we have this week.
ZZ Top, Brown Sugar.
This is not. I screwed this up. I'll take the L on this. The minute I saw Brown Sugar, I assumed. And of course, what happens? Dave,
you make an ass out of you and me.
I assumed it was the Rolling Stones.
Brown Sugar.
It is not.
It is so far from it. Now, I had to actually listen to it a couple of times, getting over the initial disappointment.
That it was not.
Not a fan of the lyrics. It's really The vocals are But God, I'm giving it 2 because of Billy Gibbons' guitar work. That's the only thing.
You and I are so far off this week. So far off.
I just couldn't get into this one, and
I thought
ZZ
this
Top.
was classic ZZ Top.
I
thought this
wasn't into this one.
After listening to all the techno crap they put us through in the late 80s, through the 90s, and now, of course, Dusty's gone.
I just couldn't get into this one.
Oh, my God, I love this. I love this so much. This, to me, was old school ZZ Top. I loved it. 3 frenzies for me.
Wasn't a fan of the vocals.
I usually Mr. Negative. What the hell's going on? I like ZZ more than you. I like Skid Row more than you.
It's Bizarro World.
Jesus Christ. Eat a Snickers bar, dude. What the hell? God.
Dude, I said I love the guitar work.
It is phenomenal.
The guitar work
Billy Gibbons tears it up.
He is probably the most underrated guitarist.
I agree. After we saw him, even though it was an abbreviated show, 4 years ago was with Cheap Trick?
Yeah.
Out in Tinley Park. He just impressed me. Him and Slash last year, and then Gibbons 4 years ago. Those two proved to me that I had always underrated them.
Yeah, they don't do anything. They don't bounce around the stage. They're just there picking and moving their fingers up and down. And oh my God.
Well, when we talked about Greta Van Fleet this year, a couple months ago, that guitar solo versus seeing Slash or Billy Gibbons.
Please. Forget it.
All right. Some rock and roll headlines. I'm going to bounce off Dave here. Brother, we got lucky again. News came out today.
Yes, we did.
That Mammoth WVH is canceling the rest of their shows with Dirty Honey on the Young Guns tour because of COVID.
Oof.
So again, just like with Greta Van Fleet and the Pneumonias, the scare there.
Just like with Judas Priest and
the heart issue. Yeah. But of course, we lost Taylor Hawkins and the Foo Fighters, but
oof.
So luckily we did get to see Mammoth at full force.
Yep.
They are going to resume a tour after the Young Guns run ends.
Yeah.
Here going into the end of April, but going into...
It's a shame that not everybody is going to get to see that Young Guns show.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I don't know. You could get a refund, is what I saw. Dirty Honey's going to keep going through the rest of the tour. But you can get a refund if you want. That'd be a tough call.
Dirty Honey was really damn good, though.
If you get a full, like, maybe an hour and 45 minutes set out of them.
If they kick it up a notch, it would be worth it.
Yeah.
For sure. They are definitely a band you want to see live.
And wouldn't you think they could pull somebody in?
I would think they should be able to.
A decent band? Fucking Roger Clyne. Fucking put Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers in there.
No kidding.
Opening
that
up for
would
them
be good.
for the last 6 shows on that tour. Somebody that fits the bill in terms of the music style.
Yeah.
We should be doing this too. We should be running a football team, a baseball team.
No, not teams. We should be running the leagues.
Right. I'm sorry. Right. Yes. Fuck one team. We should be running all of them. Yeah. And running these major bands because we're just that fucking smart.
That's right.
All right. We don't like to get political here on, well, yeah, I guess we do. But
we don't like to, but we will make a stand when it's called for.
The Van Zant brothers have released Sweet Florida, a song that they are putting out there to support Governor Ron DeSantis in his re-election bid. Might be something we have to listen to and review. Of course.
Cracker ass cracker, Florida.
Stop it! I love Florida. Leave Florida alone. But of course, you get Leonard Skinner, 38 Special. Bring those two together. I have not listened to it yet. I'm interested to see how it sounds.
All right. I think that could be on tap along with Aldo Nova.
Yes, next week we will review The Life and Times of Eddie Gage. Of course, the Grammys, the clusterfuck that they are. It was a bad situation to be in for the Grammys. But, and I'm going to sound like an asshole, and that's fine. I'm used to it. Every fucking year, the Foo Fighters put something out. They win every rock Grammy. Okay, we get that. This year, of course, again, because of what happened with Taylor Hawkins, I don't know when voting cut off, but they won all 3 major rock Grammys. Album, song, and performance.
They should not have gotten song. Waiting on War is weak. It should have gone to Wolfie and Mammoth WVH for Distance. So much better of a song. It's a travesty.
That's why he's my brother from another mother, because he says what I think. But you wonder if, when, again, the voting cut off, did Taylor Hawkins' death impact the voting? I don't think it did.
I think they're just, everybody's just fucking locked into the Foo Fighters as the only rock group out there.
And we love the Foo Fighters.
Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
But there's more out there that needs to be recognized.
Yeah, and it was cool that Wolfie was there with his mom.
And his girl
stepmother.
Yep. And his girlfriend. Wow.
Wolfie's got it going on, man.
Wolfie's got it.
So yeah, I agree with Dave.
I
would have liked to have seen Distance win. I just would have liked to have seen it.
It's a much better song than Waiting on War. I mean,
But again, they defer to the Foo Fighters anytime the word rock pops up, because the Grammy voters, just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame idiots, don't know
shit.
The music that they're voting on. And the weird thing is, when I saw initially who won, I knew it was going to be, people I didn't know or care about. Although I will say, what is her name? Olivia Rodrigo. She's a hot box of rocks, man. I'll tell you that.
Smoke City.
Woo! Shit. I wish I could pull that. What is it? 1.5 times her age equals me on her. Oh my God. I would be sending her text. I'm the maestro.
Stalker.
Yeah. I'm the maestro. I sound like Beavis. I'm the maestro. TV from my butthole.
Do you have any candy?
Oh my God.
Would you like my lollipop?
Oh my God. I talked about what's her name, Cardi B, last week. She's an idiot. You know?
Yeah.
But at least, you know, some of these, you know, like Katy Perry, they're actually
can put two sentences together.
Yes. Yes, maestro. When do you want to have sex and how? There you go, 2 sentences.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but this is what we do. Unfortunately, we mentioned a few months ago, Deacon Fry had left the Eagles for health issues, and now he's officially dropped out. Of course, Glenn Fry's son.
Yep.
Now, boy, this makes me wonder if we didn't, even though it would have been a ton of money, more money than I wanted to spend, I think this could have been the last Eagles tour.
Probably.
You know? But it would have been $140 for nosebleeds.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Wow.
It's hard to justify.
Yeah. But yeah, Deacon Fry has now dropped out of the Eagles. As young as he is.
It's scary.
Yep. And of course, next week, as Dave mentioned, we'll probably listen to Sweet Florida. Mick Jagger has a new song out. It's called Strange Game, which is the theme title to a Gary Oldman miniseries starting up here soon.
Intriguing.
And then, of course, as he mentioned, Aldo Nova next week, and the week after, Jack White, Fear of the Dawn, will be our next album review.
Yep. I have one that stumbled upon after listening to the Chili Peppers. It popped up. Starlight, the Dan Reed Network.
All right.
And then that was the first single off. And then the second single off their upcoming album. The second single is Pretty Karma.
So both Dan Reed Network.
Yep.
All right. Always
I was
intrigued.
For they've been around for a while. I didn't realize it. I did a little research. But kind of a rock funk.
I'm wondering, for some reason, Starlight sounds familiar. Like maybe Spotify did the same thing to you that it did to me, where once the album, Red Hot Chili Peppers album ended,
it kicked into another song.
So we'll check those songs out for you. And again, Aldo Nova next week.
Yep. Yeah, the Dan Reed Network. Let's Hear It for the King is the new album coming out this spring. So that might be something new to us.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing a lot of new stuff coming out here. Outside of the next couple weeks, we're going to be getting a little dry on new music. So, hey, any recommendations are welcome. All right, that's it for music this week, kids.
Yep, send us a line. Let us know something else that you know of that rocks. Yep.
Check out the Facebook page, as always. And we will be right back. We have movies. Our review of Death on the Nile coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Will Smith. You might know me as the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You might also know me from Bad Boys 1, Bad Boys 2 and Bad Boys for Life. And now you must also know me as an Academy Award-winning actor for King Richard. Also by now, you know there are two things I do not like people talking about in my presence. Namely, my open marriage and my wife's lack of hair. Well, now there is a third thing you do not talk about in front of Will Smith. You do not talk about Sports Frenzy 2.0. My boys Kev and Dave will hit slap the sports world in Hollywood each and every week on Sports Frenzy 2.0 and the Weekend Edition on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher. Just remember, keep Sports Frenzy's name out your damn mouth.
Hey kids, segment 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0, the Weekend Edition, hitting here on April 9th. I am the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Along with the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Grab a bowl of popcorn, settle in, and cue up Death on the Nile.
Now, of course, a lot of you younger listeners or viewers might think Agatha Christie's movies going back a couple years to Murder on the Orient Express.
They've been redone. These are not the first time these have been brought to the silver screen.
Right. There is an older version of Murder on the Orient Express. There's, of course, Peter Ustinov version of Death on the Nile. It's hard to explain. Dave and I are both, little background here, Dave and I are both huge fans of old school mysteries.
Yes.
We read Chandler, MacDonald, more modern day, of course, Robert B. Parker and James Lee Burke, Kellerman, Robert Craze. We like the old school detective novels.
Yeah.
So something like Death on the Nile is right in our wheelhouse. Now, that being said, I will be interested to see what the Conquistador thought of Death on the Nile.
See, that's my take as well, as I was intrigued to see what you thought of it as well, having viewed the original back in the day.
Now, I will say this. I saw the original Murder on the Orient Express. I have not seen the new one. The Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
So, I am more old school Agatha Christie. Now, the thing is...
I haven't seen the new Murder on the Orient Express
Okay,
yet.
so you and I are the same on that.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I like this story, I think, better than the Orient Express story.
Okay. Here's my problem with the movie.
Gal Gadot?
No, actually, no, right, though. He's right, though, because he knows, and I have said this before, I do not like her as an actress. I do not like her as an actress. She gets puffed up beyond all belief because she's pretty. She is not a great actress. I'm sorry. But she wasn't the problem I had. The problem I had with Death on the Nile, and here's the thing. I love Kenneth Branagh. I love him. I love him as a director. He has made so many fantastic movies. I like him a lot as Hercule Poirot. The problem I have with Death on the Nile is it takes way, way too long to set up the classic
Thank you.
Agatha Christie old school mystery is where you have the locked room with all the suspects in the room, and you have the great detective who's got
breaking it
to
all
figure
down.
it takes over an hour before they get to that point. And I think that's what kills Death on the Nile is the fact that
Dude,
takes
it's like
so
an hour
long.
45 to get to that point.
It takes a lot longer than it should have.
It's
Before
well
Poirot,
over an hour
Poirot
and a half.
finally gets to the point where he's got all the suspects in the room and he starts pointing to each one of them and saying, this is why you did it, or this is why you might have, or this is why you didn't, or this is why. I want to see Poirot, the great detective, break it all down. That's the appeal of this mystery structure that I want to see, and it takes way too long to get to it.
It's about 40 minutes too long.
Okay, yeah, I can live with that. Yeah, 40.
It's about 40 minutes too long.
Right.
It was a little over 2 hours. It should have been done in probably an hour and
45, hour and 50. Yeah. Because I think it ran 220.
Yeah. So, yeah, they could have taken about 40 minutes out. They just drug too many things on.
And the problem is, I know you have got to establish all the suspects. This is a typical Agatha Christie mystery where there's about a dozen suspects, and you have got to somehow tell everybody this is why this person could be innocent or this person could be guilty. And so I understand that's a very tricky
and
high wire act to pull off.
My problem was the beginning. We did not need the Poirot backstory.
I agree to a point. I did like finding out more about Poirot. Now, I don't want to spoil this for anybody. One of the things I found out over the last year about the character, I have not read all of the Agatha Christie Poirot novels. I will never claim to have read all of them. But at the same time, I admire the character. I admire Miss Marple. I admire all of Agatha Christie. Yeah. She is the grande dame of mystery writing.
Correct.
When I read this past year about how Poirot's final novel happened, do you know what happened?
I have not heard or read anything about it.
I do not want to spoil it for you. I do not want to spoil it for the podcast universe out there. But if you have watched Murder on the Orient Express or now watch Death on the Nile and see, like you're talking about, you weren't enamored with the character development. The thing that makes it interesting.
It went a little too
if
long.
You know what I know now about how the whole Poirot saga wraps up, makes it a little more interesting.
All right.
I'm not saying Death on the Nile is great, but now that I know how Agatha Christie's last Hercule Poirot novel ended, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Right. So that...
Now, I'm not going to go and read all of them.
No.
I just kind of now know the character.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah, I know the character now. I understand how some of the background stuff they put in Death on the Nile works. But that being said, it doesn't excuse the fact it is a slow slug of a movie.
There's a lot that they could have sped up and skipped over.
It's well acted. I did not hate the characters. I thought all of them were pretty good.
They were played very well. Even Gal Gadot did a good job. Armie Hammer played his role beautifully.
He didn't eat anybody on set.
No, he did not.
So weird. That guy's career is probably over. because he had those stupid tweets about eating people. And
yeah, he made a few other dumb decisions too.
Right. But he was so good in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I mean, just,
yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame. But
yeah, I think he got tainted by hanging around Johnny Depp too much on the Lone Ranger flick.
There you go.
That's what screwed him up.
Yep. So in the end, I can only give it 2 frenzies. Again, the first half was so slow, so meandering.
I was going a week 2.5. So
Pretty
in
close.
the same.
Pretty close. Yeah, I could see 2.5, but I can only go 2.
It's worth watching, especially if you haven't seen the original.
Right. And if you can make it through the first half, the second half again picks
the payoff
up once you get Poirot.
Once you get him
in that
rolling.
Classic closed room with all the suspects, that's what you want.
Yeah, it took too long for Poirot to be Poirot.
Yeah. Now, some of the things he did early on, where you're like, "What? Why is he acting like that? Why is he doing that?" Get explained.
Yeah.
But again, I'll have to go back. I'll have to watch
Orient Express.
The newer.
Yeah,
now, I've seen the older.
Yeah.
The newer.
I want to see how that one plays out.
Right. Because his friend plays into this.
Yes.
His friend from the first one plays into this one.
Yeah.
So I actually would like to see more movies like this, just done better. Intelligent movies, just maybe not done. This one wasn't done as well as it should have been.
Right. It wasn't Knives Out.
Good point. Very good point. Well, I guess we did something. We accomplished something. We got Will Smith kicked out of the Academy. Oh, no, he resigned. I'm sorry. He resigned.
Resigned from the Academy from the fallout of the slap heard round the world.
And now I've heard that they have pushed up the disciplinary hearings to this coming Friday. So by the time you hear this, the world will have known the fate of Will Smith.
Whatever.
Yeah, what slap on the fucking wrist is he going to get? You can't go to the Oscars next year. Well, Jesus Christ, none of us want to go to the Oscars. We've talked about this. We haven't watched the Oscars for years and years.
I haven't watched an awards show, period, for years and years.
That's why the ratings suck ass.
Because it's not about the content. It's all about me, my beliefs, my views. This is what you should listen and believe in, blah, blah. Shut up and entertain me.
Yeah, we talked about the Grammys in our first segment with the Foo Fighters and Mammoth WVH. Well, guess what? The Grammys, even though we're out of the pandemic, still tied an all-time low in ratings. Only 8.9 million people watched. Because you don't listen to us. You don't care about our opinions, our feelings, what we want to listen to, what we want to watch.
We don't want to hear celebrities spout their beliefs. You're there to entertain us, as we've said time and again.
Somebody really hit the nail on the head. We talked about this last week in the dumbass segment where Sean Penn was, I'm going to melt all my Oscars down if they don't get Zelensky, to speak at the Academy. He did not. They did not. Somebody came out and said,
hey, Sean.
Yeah, he was on all over the place. He was on like all the morning shows a day or two ago. Did he melt down his Oscars?
No.
No, of course he didn't, because he's a fucking pussy. like we talk about, these tough guys in Hollywood, like Sean Penn, acts like he is a big badass.
Not so much.
In the end, he's a pussy just like the rest of them. He wakes up in the morning, he puts on his little bunny slippers. He has his maid put baking powder on his balls or whatever. Gold Bond.
Bring him his cappuccino, frappuccino, iced, whatever bullshit.
Twice latte, half calf, whatever. And you still all buy into it. You still all kiss their ass. This is what we try to tell you. Stop it.
Don't be a lemming. Think for yourself.
All right, I have to do it. I hate to do it. I have to do it.
Like your doctor said, let it out.
I love Kevin Smith so much. I love Kevin Smith. We love Kevin Smith.
We do. We do. And yeah.
News came out today. His latest movie, Kilroy Was Here, which was originally supposed to be a movie about the Krampus, but somebody else beat him to the punch, of course, because it takes Kevin Smith fucking forever
long
to get
decide
an idea going. So he had to change it from Krampus to Kilroy, the old graffiti figure with the long nose.
Yeah.
So now Kevin Smith has got this movie done. It's an anthology comparative to VHS, which I recently reviewed. He will only allow people who buy an NFT through Legendio access to his new movie.
Screw you, Kevin.
What the hell are you thinking, dude? Seriously. Alienating your base, your fans who are not going to buy NFTs, who don't know what NFTs are. Most of us, 99.999 fucking percent of us, don't understand what an NFT is
or care.
You're going to do this to us.
You have become what you set out to oppose.
You have become the problem, not the solution. This disappoints me beyond all belief from him. This disappoints me incredibly that he would pull this shit.
Yeah, this is ridiculous coming from him. The man who bucked the system is now part of the system.
The man who made it. The man who put together one of the funniest, if not the funniest movies of all time on his mom and dad's credit cards is now only putting out a movie if you will go out and get an NFT.
Shame on you. It's about the death knell for us supporting you going forward.
Clerks 3 better be fucking good. That's all I have to say. Clerks 3 better be fucking good.
And not an NFT.
That being said, we'll wrap up segment 2. Coming back in segment 3 with TV and streaming. Might have a dumbass or two. A lot of moments of silence, including a couple personal to me that hit near and dear to my heart. All I will say is, Dave, stop treating your body like it was an amusement park. My mother, my TV mother, passed away.
Oh, God.
And I miss her so much. We'll talk about that coming up.
And we're not going to stop short.
We'll be right back, kids. In the fortress of solitary justice, two brave men hold the fate of the sports world in their hands, with the utterance of a single word: Frenzy! These seemingly ordinary men become the maestro and the conquistador, destined to save the world from stupidity on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all noble podcast hosts everywhere. Dave and Kev stand for truth, justice, and the frenzy way. Hey, everybody, we're going to wrap up the weekend edition Sports Frenzy 2.0, taping on the 6th of April, 2022. Of course, this hits Saturday morning, the 9th, just in time. So you have the whole weekend to watch what we tell you, listen to what we tell you, live life the way the maestro and the conquistador tell you.
Balls out.
How could it go wrong? How could it possibly go wrong?
It's all good, kids.
Of course, off mic, I have got some great news from the conquistador. He is actually finally watching the boys.
My boys and I have finally gotten started. So started over the weekend, Monday, during the national championship game. In our regular show, I alluded that this segment, I would say what I watched, and it was episodes 3 and 4 of The Boys. And my God, it's wrong on every level. It's fantastic.
Of course, season 3 starts in a couple months, so you have got to.
So we will be ready to go for it. But Monday night, it was later. Mrs. C had gone to bed. The new puppy's sleeping. We're on the other side of the house. It's not going to give much away here. But when the Deep took the dolphin out of Ocean Land.
The blowhole? No.
And when he stopped and the dolphin came out of its cradle.
Did not stop short.
And the ensuing parts, Connor, Nick, and I absolutely lost it, laughing so hard, so loud. We scared the hell out of the dog, who started barking, woke up my wife. They came down. What the hell's going on down here? And we've got tears in our eyes. We almost felt a little bad for laughing so maniacally at that scene.
No, you shouldn't. It's fantastic.
It was awesome.
It's fantastic.
I mean, oh my God.
And again, as we'll get to later, probably still stopped short with the dolphin.
Probably should have, but God.
But yeah, The Boys is so good. It is so nasty.
Crude, rude.
But it is so good.
Yep. The superheroes are dicks.
It is interesting to see that side. It is interesting to see somebody who will actually have the balls to write. Of course, Watchmen kind of went
there.
to that territory, but it was a little more cerebral. Yeah. This is just down and dirty. If they have the same base instincts that most of the rest of us do.
Yep.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
And corporate greed.
Yep. So it'll be great to hear the Conquistadors review of seasons 1 and 2 of The Boys coming up here soon, before season 3 hits.
Yep. And then, of course, continuing with The Witcher. Still a decent show.
I did start watching Moon Knight. Now, of course, Disney pisses me off because they're going to do one episode a week.
Oh, bastards.
Unlike when we watch Reacher, where Amazon dropped the entire season. So all I've gotten to see so far is episode 1. It is weird. It is interesting. Oscar Isaac stars. You don't know what's reality, what's fictional, what's a different universe, what's a different dimension.
Or a dream.
Right. It's interesting to see Ethan Hawke as a demonic cult guru. I've said this, I have told you this over and over again. At some point, give it another 5 years, every major Hollywood actor or actress will have been somehow in a Marvel movie. We're getting to that point.
Yes, we are.
So I liked what I've seen so far from episode 1 of Moon Knight. Of course, this is one of the characters that I love from the 70s. I have said Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, which is coming later this year. These are the characters from the 70s that I read, that I love. Hopefully Disney does not fuck them up. I did not like Shang-Chi. Moon Knight's much better. Moon Knight is much better. It's more edgy. Now that they've brought in all the Netflix shows,
they can go Disney MA.
Right. I think that's what they're trying to do with Moon Knight. So, fingers crossed, Moon Knight will end up being really solid in terms of an entry into the Marvel Universe. I did finish WandaVision, finally. And a lot of people, it's a love or hate thing.
Yeah.
People falling all over it, or people can't stand it. I'm in the middle.
He used to be indecisive, now he's not so sure.
There you go. If I had to go one way or the other, I would go for the positive. I have my issues with one actress, and one actress only in this whole thing. Now, the premise of it, I mean, it's been out for a year. I don't know if I can really spoil anything now. It's all about Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and what happened in Age of Ultron with Vision and their connection. And she's basically...
Is that what they're calling it these days?
Well, he's an android. I don't know what... I mean, is he like a walking, talking dildo? I mean, seriously.
Yes.
He's technically an android, right?
Yeah.
So
batteries not included.
But she's so devastated from what happened in Age of Ultron that then we get what she ends up creating in WandaVision, which in many ways is extremely creative. Extremely, extremely creative. Anybody who watched sitcoms from the 60s all through the 80s will love a lot of what they do, especially in the first half of the 9 episodes of WandaVision, which I did. I thought they were really cool. Really cool. But in the end, the stuff happening on the outside ends up being typical Disney PC crap. And the one person who ruined it for me, and I love her assets, if I may say so. If you remember Two Broke Girls, that show from years and years ago, Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings.
Yes, she has very wonderful assets. But Jesus Christ, listening to her is like listening to Jennifer Tilly.
Oh!
With that baby doll, high, whiny voice. She's not a good actress. She's not. And to put her in the middle of a serious Marvel series like this and act like we're supposed to take her seriously.
Instead of just a scene or two like in Thor.
I didn't like her at all. I could not stand her in this. There is another actress who plays a key part, and she is going to end up being the star of another Disney Plus Marvel series later on. Again, I know it's a year. I could spoil it. I wouldn't necessarily be a jackass for doing it, but I won't. It all works out in the end. It ends up being pretty cool. So I give it a strong 3 frenzies.
There you go.
It's actually better than Hawkeye. I reviewed Hawkeye earlier. Now I'm starting Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'll get through Loki.
Yeah, those are on my future viewing list when I finally decide to break down and pay the rat.
Well, what you should do is wait and wait and wait, and then
I'm waiting for everything to be able to blow through it.
Right, that's what you do. Wait until everything's there. Take a couple months, watch all of it, and then be done with it. And then drop it for a year, and then wait and wait
for
and wait.
Everything to come back, and
So, because of the fact that I'm still trying to catch up, I've still got, like I said, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki. I still got to watch season 3 of Daredevil and all the Netflix stuff. So what I'm looking at is early May is Doctor Strange. By the time mid-June rolls around, that will be on Disney. That's where I go cut the cord. I will do everything I can to watch everything I can. After Doctor Strange, I'll take like a year off and then let everything catch up.
There you go.
But yeah, WandaVision was very interesting, especially, again, like I said, for children of the old school sitcoms. So I will say yay versus nay.
All right. There you go.
Do I get to talk about WrestleMania? Oh, you know I was going to talk about WrestleMania.
Yes, you can talk about WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 38 this past weekend. Glorious. Great and glorious WrestleMania. 8 hours of wrestling.
God.
2 nights of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not 1, but 2. We thought Saturday night was going to be it, but he came back for Sunday night. Here's the part you're going to love, Dave. Now, Saturday night, we expected it. He was fighting Kevin Owens.
Right.
All right. And he went through like 15, 20 beers. And, I love how he chugs beers and spits half of it out.
Yeah.
And, most of the fun stuff happened Sunday.
Well, of course.
Because he came back on Sunday night because Vince McMahon decided in his 70s he needed to wrestle again.
Oh, God.
Taking off his shirt, going out there wrestling Pat McAfee.
God. The
podcast guru. The man who every week during the NFL season was breaking news about Aaron Rodgers.
God.
He beat Pat McAfee. 70-something-year-old Vince McMahon beat Pat McAfee.
Would you expect anything less?
But then, of course, Stone Cold came out and gave him a stunner, and
there you go.
It was still fun. It was fun. I have to admit, this WrestleMania was better than last year's. Last year's was kind of dull. This one, at least,
the entertainment factor went up.
It was a lot. There was a lot of nostalgia because you had the Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame. That was kind of neat. both nights he came out and, they did the bell, bong, 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 and he came out and he
waved and went on his merry way.
And of course, Cody Rhodes was the big thing. Cody Rhodes is the first wrestler to now go from AEW back to WWE. So, of course, Dusty Rhodes' son,
right?
He showed up and he fought Seth Rollins. I'm not a big fan. I just, I was never a big fan of Dusty Rhodes. To me, he was just a big tub of goo.
Yeah, and then there was Goldust.
That was his other
son.
Right. And he's still in AEW. And I get it. It's a family thing. A lot of these kids follow in their mothers or their father's footsteps and do this, but I don't know. He did this whole dramatic speech Monday night on Raw, and he's crying. Oh my God, my dad would be so proud of me. Because he did the atomic elbow, one of the worst,
that was the dumbest ass move,
stupid moves of all time. So now I have to put up with this idiot
dropping the atomic elbow.
And he's got this big stupid ass tattoo right on his neck. I mean, it looks horrendous. It looks horrendous. If he didn't have that, dude would be a good looking, solid built guy. He got this big stupid tattoo right on his neck, right on his carotid artery. And he just looks like a moron.
All right, we want to know the big matches, the tag team.
Well, the big thing is, my man, Roman Reigns. I am wearing my Roman Reigns shirt tonight. That. Roman Reigns in one of the most anticlimactic, pathetic. It's supposed to be the greatest match of all time with him and Brock Lesnar Sunday night for the unification match. Roman Reigns won. It was a terrible match.
Not even entertaining.
No.
Wow, that's sad.
No, I was glad that Roman Reigns won because he's the man.
Come on, this was supposed to have been an epic battle.
Right. And I thought it would go at least 45 minutes to an hour. 15 minutes.
What?
Yeah, there was nothing about it even close to dramatic. I mean, it was just pathetic. It was an awful, awful match.
That's sad.
Yeah. But again, I think it was all about nostalgia. They wanted it all to be about Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker.
Yeah, but come on.
And Triple H, of course, retired. The whole weekend was about him too.
Whoop-de-doo.
But he hadn't fought in years.
Yeah, so what's the big deal?
Yeah.
He just made it official.
Yeah, the only belts that changed hands were Bianca Belair, who I'm not a big fan of, beat Becky Lynch. That sucked because I love Becky Lynch. I know she's married to Seth Rollins, but still, she's really hot. And then the tag team titles went back on the women's side from Queen Zelina and the most beautiful woman in the WWE. They lost the titles to Naomi and Sasha Banks. So
there you go.
All that stuff wasn't all that interesting. It was more about, again, Stone Cold chugging beers for 2 nights and Pat McAfee. I'll tell you what, the dipshit, he can move. He made some amazing moves.
So he didn't completely embarrass himself.
No, he did not.
All right.
discuss two of the people that we can't stand in the world. Getting away from wrestling. Going back to talk shows. Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel.
Their April Fool's Day swap.
That was pretty funny.
I will give them props for that.
That was clever. Yeah. If you did not know, Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel on April Fool's Day swapped shows.
That was good. I will give them that.
Yeah. And I don't mind Fallon. He doesn't bother me. Kimmel bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
But
Kimmel is so not who he actually is.
yeah. He's changed so much. All right, I have one dumbass in the entertainment world, and I will be interested as we wrap things up what Dave thinks of this. I want to know what he would do. He has to put himself in this celebrity's shoes.
Oh, God.
But it's as a sports fan. Think of it, let's put it this way. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. Think of it as the White Sox. All right? Think if it was the White Sox involved, okay? Game 7 of the World Series. All right?
Okay.
But you are a world-renowned country music star. Eric Church canceled a concert he had in San Antonio this past Saturday night. 18,000 people. Sold out show. So he could go to New Orleans and see Duke, North Carolina, because he's a big Tar Heels fan. 18,000 people canceled the show. A lot of people had plane tickets, hotel reservations. They had babysitters, had flown their parents in to watch their kids so they could go see him. 18,000 people.
Dude, you can't do it.
I think that's an unbelievable dick move.
That is
unbelievable.
A complete dick move. There is no call for that.
And he admit, I'm being selfish. Well, no shit, Sherlock, you're being selfish.
Asshole. No, that's totally uncalled for.
And I didn't even look to see what happened on Monday. I don't know if he had a concert scheduled for Monday when they played in the championship game. But yeah, to screw 18,000 people
at all.
18,000 people.
Not
and you basically
cool
say,
at all.
Fuck you, I want to go watch a basketball game.
That is...
I could never do that. If I was in his position, if I had been that privileged, that lucky to be where he is.
I'm honoring that commitment to the fans. Because guess what? You just lost that many fans. Word's going to get out. Your career is pretty much going to be shot.
Well, we've seen with Tiger Woods that's not necessarily the case. But
if normal people...
I would never do that if I was in his position.
Never. That is so uncool.
In this day and age, you could go back, watch it on the DVR in the trailer after the show. But even if somebody ruined it for me, somebody spoiled it for me, I'd be like, I don't care. I just performed in front of 18,000 people who paid to see me.
Yeah.
What a dick move. Literally, I'm telling you, I would not put him on the Sports Frenzy plane of death because this is a one-time indiscretion. But this makes him...
repeat...
No, but I'm saying this makes him the number one candidate for Sports Frenzy Dumbass of the Year.
Yeah.
As much as we hate LeBron, as much as we hate Tiger Woods, this one move makes
is
Eric Church
asshole
the front runner for dumbass of the year. I cannot believe this. I cannot see anybody else doing this.
No, that is so far over the top crap.
I ain't gonna watch my team play.
And what? No, come on, no. So bad on every level.
Well, you know where we stand, kids. Let us know. Drop us a line. Facebook page. We're more than willing to take your slings and arrows if you don't agree with us.
Yep.
But I'm sorry. If you think Eric Church is correct for doing this,
reevaluate your own life situation and morals.
Right. Again, all the people that had hotel rooms, non-refundable plane flights booked to see him, screwed completely. But this is what we do on Sports Frenzy.
We call out the morons. I know we talked about Ezra Miller and the karaoke thing. It's gotten worse.
He's got a restraining order.
Yeah. The couple that he launched into, he broke into their hotel room, threatened them, stole her passport and his wallet with all of his stuff. The guy's a fucking psycho.
Something is wrong. Something is wrong with him. I don't know if it's drugs. I don't know if it's alcohol.
Or if he's just a loopy nut job. But he has got some serious issues that need to be resolved.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah, we don't normally do a dumbass follow-up, but yeah.
This one needed to be followed up because it went beyond blowing up at a karaoke bar. It carried over into people's personal space.
Yeah. And if you've seen the pictures,
my God, of him, he's gone over the edge.
I mean, there's one thing with being homosexual, but he kind of takes it to another level.
Yeah.
The lipstick and the collars.
He's kind of going Rocky Horror.
Yeah, yeah. So, believe me, you're not getting that from us here on Sports Frenzy.
Not even close.
I guess it's time to wrap it up.
Yep, moments of silence.
Oh my God, yeah, I forgot.
The big one. We mentioned it a little bit with the Foo Fighters.
You treat your body like it's an amusement park. The great, the glorious Estelle Costanza, a.k.a. Estelle Harris, passed away.
Yep.
She will always be my TV mom. Always be my... A lot of people look back at Mrs. Brady or Mrs. Partridge, Shirley Jones. I will always look back at Mrs. Costanza because she was most like my mom. So, R.I.P. Estelle Harris. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yep. God bless you. I hope you rest well in heaven and Jesus doesn't stop short on you.
Wow. And then, of course, again, condolences to Taylor Hawkins' family and the Foo Fighters family.
C.W. McCall, of course, who wrote and performed the great song Convoy back in the late 70s.
Yeah.
Which got everybody on the CB radio.
Yep.
You might not know this name. Nehemiah Persoff passed away at 102 years old. A great character actor, most notably, in my opinion, for being on the Wild Wild West. But he was in basically every great show. Rawhide, Hawaii Five-0, 70s and 60s. This guy, look him up.
Everything.
great character actor. Rest in peace, Nehemiah Persoff. Bobby Rydell, of course. Volare! Oh!
He's holding the thing with his...
And finally, we wrap up here. I have to give a personal moment of silence to Princess Peony, Martha Stewart's cat, who was unfortunately ripped to shreds by her 4 dogs. God! First world problems! Guess what, Martha? Go smoke dope with Snoop Dogg. We don't care. He's the conquistador.
He's the maestro.
We love you. Check you out next week, kid.